And Jimmy, who kind of know everything about this ship. Between the two of you, you guys have all bases covered, so this is a great opportunity to...
Most
bases. No. So we'll just turn it over. Any questions you've got about the ship, the experience Disney Cruise Line in general?
And maybe how about if you want to start by telling me about your roles and all that you do on the ship so people know who to direct the questions to.
That's true.
I do whatever Jimmy tells me.
There you go.
I'm the cruise director, so I oversee the entertainment operation on board the ship, which includes youth activities, the stage shows, the character operation, the technical side for entertainment, not engines and stuff. But we have a whole technical team as well, so that is the area that I oversee.
That's
You
all.
do.
The events, the activities, the fireworks, the
show.
the show, and the show aspect.
Fireworks was great last night.
Yes, it was
Yes.
a little chill in the air.
It was cold.
No, it was a perfect weather for it though.
Beautiful.
I was told the other ships kind of hang around so they
There
get
was
the
one.
benefit
It
of
does happen. It does happen.
Yeah, I always
Yeah, for
take
sure.
a look to see how close they get. But if they get within a certain range, then we can't do our fireworks. So we're in touch with them, telling them to stay away.
That's all. Myself, hotel director on board. So anything that Jimmy doesn't do, I don't know. We take care of the hotel operation, kind of like a general manager does, shoreside. So from merchandise, spa, food and beverage is a big part of our business. We work very closely with finance, so does Jimmy, of course. Stores downstairs, the beverage side, housekeeping, if I mentioned that. So, yeah, basically the hotel area. And of course, we work very closely with our partners in deck and engine, and then we report to the captain. Yeah.
The alcoholic beverages are nice.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
yes.
generous.
They are generous, they're nice,
Uh-huh.
yes.
That's kind of a nice thing, though, really. I'd rather pay more for them, but, you know,
And have a good,
yeah, feel like you got a good drink.
I'm with you, absolutely. Have you been to Skyline yet? Yes? Was that still coming, Skyline?
We don't have that on our scheduled agenda, but we'll make sure.
Oh, you should go there if you like it.
Yeah, it's kind of amazing.
That's kind of our, for beverages, I would say that's our
Tonight,
pista-
yeah, so we're going to have
that
a
is-
farewell reception tonight.
Oh, yes, I hope I didn't give it away. My bad. You'll really enjoy that, I'm sure.
Okay, great.
Yeah, it's a nice spot.
And the mixology, we did that. I noticed you seem to have expanded the classes, and that was really fun. We had
Enjoyed
never
that.
done that one, yes.
Fantastic.
The bartenders do such a good job getting everybody involved in that
Engaged.
one. Yeah.
It's really important, yeah.
There's so much to do that I think it makes you want to keep coming back to experience it all.
Well, that's
Because
the goal
there's-
from our
I
side,
wouldn't.
is to have so much happening. And remember, it's a 3 and 4 day product. So our goal on this is to get the first timers on board the ship, and that they want to come back. I mean, that's the goal of any cruise that we have. And if they're repeaters that are here, that they'll want to continue to come back. So that's why, I mean, we pack it in with events, activities. You pull into Nassau, and probably 50% of the ship stays on board,
Right.
depending on how many people are on Port Adventures at the time. So we it doesn't stop. Like we don't just shut down. That's my I say it on the morning show.
Oh,
you know, we don't pull into Nassau and then go "Brr," and shut the ship down. We have events and activities as if it's a sea day in Nassau. So, and today we move the events and activities out to the island.
How many people stay on board today?
Today you get a handful. I mean, today, secretly, today is the best day to be up at the pools.
Sure.
In the morning. That's the one thing I try and tell some guests. Like,
Not all of them, right?
no. But like for the aqueduct and all that, because everyone rushes off the ship to go onto the island, especially on a day when the weather's beautiful like it is today.
Yeah.
So the ship is your oyster. So if you're not a true beach person, it's a great opportunity to stay on board, enjoy the upper decks, and kind of have that aspect of the cruise where it's like really feels like there's no one on board,
Yeah.
and then you can make your way onto the island. It just really depends on how you feel. But we'll get several families up there, but there will be no line this morning when the aqueduct opens, which is great.
Who exactly is the target audience for a 3 or 4 day cruise? I know you mentioned first-time cruisers, so who is that, especially for a Disney cruise?
I don't think. I mean, I would hate to say we have a target. I mean, everyone thinks families with Disney, but you've been around the ship, and I mean, the ship really is designed for everybody in mind. From the district area being adult only, to the children's spaces being for the kids only, and to those family areas. So, I mean, I would say that it's the Disney brand that brings them. So I wouldn't say that we have a specific target. Like I said, everyone thinks families, but we get a lot of guests that come just as
Without their children,
yeah, without their kids, and
Amazing.
Yeah, we met quite a few of them in the spa area. And they've said they come on, that's all they do is Disney cruises.
And it's really
They've
because
even been to Europe, they've done
Oh,
a
yeah.
lot of them.
and the children are so busy and they're so managed, so the parents actually have a vacation.
Well, they didn't have children with them.
And
They
there we
just
go.
were coming,
So
that's what I
that's
was
it.
saying.
That's
they're
part of it as well.
Adults.
but I think we cater as well, or even I'm not going to say better, but we have so much space for the adults on this ship. If you go, have you been to deck 13 forward, where the Satellite Falls is?
Yeah.
I mean that whole area is adult only, and that is just such a great space.
But Jimmy, I heard somebody on your team one time say it the best. They said, family doesn't mean children, family means something for everybody.
There we go.
And that's true. And that's true. So the target demographic, we just want to get anyone that wants to cruise, you know? I mean, that's really it. And then, I mean, our goal on Disney Cruise Line is to hit them with the great entertainment, the excellent service, and just the great ambiance on board the ship. Because I always feel like when I walk on board the ship, it's like walking into the Grand Floridian. I mean, you walk into it's just elegant. And I think that is one of those things that completely, I don't know, I think guests are shocked when they walk on board and they see how elegant the ship is, you know, because it really is. It's like walking into a beautiful 5-star resort.
Disney pays attention to all the details though. Even the buses, you know,
Yes.
they just show that era, that golden era of cruising, that feel. You just see it in all the details. You really do.
And you have Victoria and Albert's too on board, basically, so it is like
Yeah, the Remy.
Yes, the Grand Floridian.
It really
It is.
is. I mean, and what a great balance too, with Remy being that really, you know, high end, and you pay a little bit more for the experience, and you also have Palo, which I mean, for me is as good of an experience. I mean, it's your side.
No, it's good. I'm not cheering from a short
Don't your
perspective.
side. But just, I mean, this place we're in right now, Meridian, is my favorite bar on the ship. I mean, I think this is really the hidden gem. Because the people that come here generally are here for a pre-dinner or post-dinner drink from Remy or Palo, and it has the beautiful little outdoor deck, you know, if you're smoke cigars or anything like that. This is just a great spot of the ship. And you can feel the elegance when you come up to deck 12 aft that, oh wait, this is definitely an adult-only space up here. Best bathrooms on the ship, too.
So I was hoping to get just sort of a soundbite from each of you, just why a Disney cruise?
Why a Disney cruise for our guests? I think you said it earlier, you know, it's a family cruise, and it doesn't mean just children. It's something for everyone, from granddad to dad to grandkids. You really cater for all generations. It makes it really special. It's very, very inclusive. There's something for everyone. It's not targeted at any specific age group.
Okay, great. What about you?
Where else in the world can you go and get a 5-star meal, fly the Millennium Falcon, go to a Broadway-style show, and then go back to your room at the end of the day, and you've all done it in one location? A Disney cruise. There's nowhere else in the world you can do it.
And that's even before you've seen the island, which is...
Well, but that's the, you know, I mean that's the Disney brand is what it's all about, and it's the storytelling. And I think in every area of the ship we do the storytelling, and that's what made Walt famous, and that's what I think continues. I mean, we have such a high number, even on this cruise. I mean, this is a 3-day cruise, and we have well over 1,000 repeaters on board. So, I mean, so it's not only the first timers. We get the people that just want that weekend getaway on Disney, you know, and what a better, there's no better way to do it. And the thing I hear so often is from, especially our first time cruisers, and they're not first time Disney people necessarily, they're first time cruisers, and they're like, oh, we always go to the parks and it's all about the parks, but we decided we'd just give it a go, and they'll inevitably say, we like the ships better than the parks, you know. I mean, and I think it's because we have a, when they come on board, we have the unique ability to take care of every need they have. Because at the parks they'll stay at a beautiful resort, but then they're spread out all over the place.
Well, look out there, right there.
Exactly, exactly. Yeah, no, I love the park. I love the park experience. I mean, I take my family to the parks all the time when I'm not working, but there's something about the cruise, and even my family. Like, I'm not talking about, but like my extended family, my aunts, my uncles, and because they all they all pay to come on board. Not partly because I'm here, but moreover because they know it's going to be a great experience for the grandparents down to the grandkids.
There's a lot more interaction, I think, with characters on the boat, I've noticed, than at the parks. I mean, my child loves Jake and the Neverland Pirates, and they
Yep.
had a dance party for 30 minutes with them yesterday.
Exactly.
So that was pretty special for him.
I can imagine.
Yeah, and we do dance. I mean, there's a dance party out on the island with the characters, and I mean, I do think that the character experience is outstanding on the ship, and again, we can control. Everyone's on board the ship, so we have control of where the characters are positioned, to the number of appearances that they make, to the shows, to the fact that we have Anna and Elsa on board, and I mean it's just such a great experience for the families. It really is.
So
It's amazing what you guys do. I think Disney is a perfect example of everything being orderly, just like the parks. It's so amazing. It's almost 4,000 people on board, isn't it? And you have 1,500
Crew members, yes.
That's amazing.
We have a wonderful team, and that's the bottom line.
Yeah.
They're really.
And the food was excellent. I was so surprised by that.
Say so.
Really,
I'm
really
glad you was.
excellent. Really. And actually very reasonably priced. You won't be able to get that in Orlando. Say if you go to the Ritz-Carlton, it's probably cost $300-400 experience. But the food was really, really good at Palos last night.
Thank you. Our teams are very, very passionate, to be here, to be part of this product. We are industry leaders. I think it's no secret that Disney is number one in its category. And so the crew and cast that we get here are extremely passionate and willing to
Yeah, it's
do
amazing.
the best they possibly
Absolutely.
can.
And you guys, working with 7 days? Do you guys get a break at all?
Jimmy
Yes.
does. No.
Yes?
No, we
You look a little bit more tired than him this morning.
He's just.
I know when to get my beauty rest. No, we work a contracted period of time. So the way it almost like, yes, we work 7 days a week, but then you get the build up of your weekends at the end. So when I go home on my break, I go home for 7 or 8 weeks, and I have nothing.
Right.
And nobody calls you.
Five-
No,
but
nothing.
About 5-6 months working straight, then 2 months off, right?
Depends.
On your
Isn't
position.
it?
Depends on
Really?
it depends on the role that you're doing on the ship.
Crazy.
On the entertainment side, the majority are here for 4 months, and then get 6 to 8 weeks off. The performers in the Walt Disney Theater, they have the longest contract in terms of the entertainment side. So they do 9 months. They do 2 months in Toronto, where our training facilities are for the shows, and then when they come on board the ship, they're on board for 7 months. So that makes up their 9 months. 2 months
Wow.
in Toronto at our facility to learn the shows. Then they come on board, and there's a 2-week crossover period where we have the 2 casts on board.
That's happening soon.
It happens tomorrow.
and
then
why Toronto and not Orlando?
Toronto allows us to have an international cast, whereas Orlando, it would really just be probably, I guess it would be U.S. based. They could probably answer better to that, but I know Toronto, one of the things had to do with, we have an international cast in our, they come from everywhere. They come from the UK, Canada, the U.S., we get Australia, we get South Africa. So I mean, we get all different nationalities in our performance cast.
And we've got pretty extensive facilities up there that are designed for that purpose, where we've got all of the theaters laid out, so we can be rehearsing multiple productions at a time. It's actually pretty impressive.
It's an amazing space, and it's right in downtown Toronto.
You do tours of that space, or is that all hidden?
No, we don't. We don't.
They want you to see the best when you're here.
Exactly.
It's
Not
probably a
practice.
silly question, but why is it called sailing? They say, "Oh, we're sailing away."
Traditionally, because the ships used to have sails, I guess. But
Yeah. Well, technically, you are sailing. When the ship is moving, it's sailing. It's another
It's
word.
not motorboating.
I see where you're going with that. Yep.
And in terms of the
I
dream,
don't have any other answer to that. It probably is because originally it was the sails.
Hold on, I'm checking Wikipedia.
the Dream's a newer ship, but now you've been through dry dock, and it's nice, isn't it, to have that opportunity because then you can do updates like the Millennium Falcon. So it's always a little bit of a new ship, isn't it? Even though it was built 5 years ago.
Constantly looking at new ways to revitalize us.
And our dry docks tend to be longer than any other dry docks because we don't use it just to do the engine work and repaint the ship and all that and do the carpeting and whatnot. We use that opportunity to update our spaces, and we actually have consumer insights come on board, and they'll do surveying of the guests and surveying of the spaces and what's being used and what do our guests want to see next, and that is where a lot of the changes come from, based on the feedback that we get. And when the Disney Fantasy came out, they had some different things like the Satellite Falls on Deck 13 Forward and a couple of those type of spaces, and they've been so successful, and the guests really wanted that here. So we kind of every time we go into dry dock, they change something.
New ideas.
And it's great. I mean, it's exciting for us too.
Is it Imagineers who come up with the new ideas, or is there a cruise team?
Oh, Imagineers.
Imagineers.
Okay.
Sometimes it's even cast members that have an idea. Everybody's got an idea. So, and some have been really, really successful.
Yeah, well, I mean, the Bippity Boppity Boutique is just, I mean, you see all the, I don't know if you've seen all the kids walking around with their
Just
on Pirate, yesterday they
Princess.
do pirates too, right? They don't just do princesses.
they do the princesses and they do the Pirate
Pirates.
League as well. Yeah, so
The little princess dresses are really pretty.
They're
so cute. I know.
And it's
I know.
always packed. It's quite a magical experience.
It really is, and Vanellope's Sweet and Treats is also.
Absolutely.
a great
Everybody
music.
indulged there yet?
Haven't been,
Today.
did not make it yet.
You should, yes.
Oh, it's quite an experience.
Well,
I've been with Disney almost 2 years today.
2 years?
Yeah.
I see that you say you were from France?
I grew up in South Africa. I live in Italy. Father Italian, mother French. So,
Don't believe too much of what he says.
so a little bit of a mixture. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, that's wonderful too.
I live in Italy.
And what's? Oh, go ahead.
So you started with this particular ship?
I actually started with actually 2 years ago. This was my first vessel, but I stayed here 3 weeks. I was doing some shadowing as I joined the company with one of the hotel directors. Then I went for a short period to the Magic, and then for 2 years almost I stayed on the Wonder. West Coast, Alaska, Panama Canal, and the Caribbean as well, out of Miami, Puerto, San Juan, Puerto Rico.
And what's different about, because you're a hotel director and this basically is a floating hotel, more like a floating resort, what's different about managing a ship than, say, one of the Disney resorts on land? It's got to be a really different animal.
Well, I think, and maybe selfishly, I think we're far more privileged in the sense that we get to wake up in a different place of the world every single day. It's moving. The big thing is, obviously, you've got to be self-sufficient. You can't, if you run out of anything, just go up the road or down the road. There's a lot of
Oops,
planning.
no
that
water
takes
on
it.
the ship.
Exactly. If somebody reports in sick, so everything is self-contained, so you've got to really be very, very self-sufficient. You don't have the luxury so much of relying on outside resources. I have worked on hotels on land. I'd say those are the major differences. The resources have to be self-contained. We don't deal so much with the commercial aspect of the stateroom selling, whereas at a hotel the general manager would be very much involved on the commercial side. Room rates, rack rates, I mean, we are involved, but we don't dictate them or make those contracts. That's done corporately. I would say those are the major differences. So is marketing and so on, yeah.
This is under your purview, but are they extending the island features at all? I noticed there's some cleared out area there.
Not that I'm aware of, but there's always the possibility. I think we've only 1/3 of the island is
Yeah,
only
it
actually...
seems like so much space out there.
No plans at this point.
Not-
But if you do see those, there's always like beach regeneration and stuff like
Okay.
that, and that can look like
Gotcha.
construction.
Yeah, and the new ships brought some changes to the island, though, didn't they? It was, yeah, quite a bit smaller, and then when the larger ships came,
Yeah.
the
That's it.
evolution was
Dock.
interesting, yeah.
Correct, yes. Cookies too, and that kind of thing, cabanas, which is wonderful.
So was it your idea? What I love so much about the ship is
Yes, it was my
it's
idea.
just a minor thing, but I'm like a clean, crazy person, and I love that somebody gives you a hand
The
wipe.
sand wipes.
Yes, every time you go into the restaurant. I love the areas where the kids are washing their hands before they play with all those toys, and that's fantastic.
You know, at the end of the day, the safety of our guests
Yeah.
and crew are our prime objectives and mandates. So this is a very good way to keep everybody safe and
Yeah,
healthy.
that's fantastic. I
Not
never
just on the-
experienced that
And
before.
also to make sure that it's constantly in people's minds that they need to be healthy. It's good.
Ugo, I know we touched on it a little bit. Can you talk a little bit about the makeup of our cast? Because I think people find that pretty fascinating. The diversity of cast, the countries represented.
I think that's what makes it most dynamic about working here. You could deal with over 60 different nationalities at any time. If I look at just my direct reports, when we do a little thing where we introduce ourselves to the new cast and crew that come on board when they're earning their years. And one of the things I always point out is how diverse we are and how important it is to embrace that, because that is our strength. Embracing the diversity and the differences that we have in cultures, where we come from, how we do things, whether it is on a personal level, culinary level, it does make us so unique and so strong. You'll have a cook from France, a stateroom host from Honduras, someone from China, someone from Africa, and it's really amazing when you put all that together how uniquely special the product comes out. So we don't only say it, we do embrace our diversity, and it really makes us very, very unique. I'm sure when you've seen it, whether it's your stateroom host or whether you're in the dining room, it does make it special to see someone and then converse with them. It's not just France or United States, or there's a bit of everything, and I think that really makes it special from our end as well. Working together, learning from our differences. It does dictate a bit of patience, of course, because sometimes the differences are not always that easy, but it's one of the first things we let everybody know that we embrace, and it works out really well.
And it's like a city, too, isn't it? Basically, like you have the guests that are coming on and off, but you have people living together for months in their own little city almost.
We become family. I mean, it's absolutely true. It's very, very common for us to spend vacations with each other. Our children sometimes come on board. I can tell you on the deck where I live right now, I know the staff captain's kids, he knows my wife, the captain, and it does become a family. It very, very much do. I'm very privileged to have a 4-year-old and a 6-year-old, and when they come here, it's heaven on earth. Dad works for Mickey Mouse. Topolino, as they say in Italy. I'm pretty famous, yes.
So you can tell me, will it get better in a year? My kids are 3 and 5.
Yeah. Is it a boy and a girl?
2 boys.
Just drop them off.
Mine
Go to those
boy.
places.
But the thing they always tell me is I always like him, which I don't totally. But yeah, a lot of energy. I think after the fall, I'm hoping actually. My daughter is easy to manage. It's the little boy. He's got a mind of his own. Where do we get that from?
They're always little boys. I don't care how old
There we
they
go.
are.
You're absolutely right.
That's great that you're a dad too, because I feel like that gives you so much perspective.
Yeah, I think it's. I always walking around. I look at it through their eyes, and I often wonder because they travel with me sometimes. Now they're starting school, so not always, but you'll watch that smile or that magical moment, that hug, and that everything, and you look at what they're looking at, and I think about my children, or how they would perceive anything that we do, whether it's going to Vanellope's or watching a new movie, The Dinosaur. And it's always looking through their eyes, which helps me a lot, understanding our product. And you look at the reaction of the parents, how they light up when their children light up, and we treat the children with respect, and the parents really, really appreciate that.
Yeah, the servers seem to be like really geared into the children, like do little tricks or
Definitely.
things.
It's
Yeah.
important. I think, in past lives I've seen that there's been too much focus just on the adults, and the truth is, it is an inclusive environment. So we look after the children just as much.
Cut the steak for you too, which is nice.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, I have to do that when I get home. That's all right. Yeah, we can't can't take any of our cast members home, unfortunately.
Speaking of that, can you talk a little bit more about the rotational dining experience? Just what
That's
that means
quite
for the
unique
guests?
to Disney. You know, we've had a lot of feedback on that. I think that's amazing. You feel it on a 3 and 4 day, obviously, but more so when you get to the longer cruises, 7 or longer, where the dining experience moves with you, even though the setting doesn't. The setting moves. You go from Animators to Royal Palace, Enchanted, depending on where you are, Karaoke's, but your service team comes with you, and that's very, very unique to Disney.
Yeah, that is.
And
That's amazing.
it works a charm. You know, I can tell you, I've worked in other industries where it is a new server every night. It's far more personal to have your server travel with you, your head waiter, your waiter, and your restaurant team, and they move with you throughout the cruise. You can only imagine when you're doing a 14-day cruise, at the end of that cruise, it's tears and hugs, really. It's amazing how close bonds you get. A lot of our guests come on board and they either know which crew members are there or they ask if they're here. You know, because you create some great
They were
bonds.
wonderful and accommodating to my picky child in particular, and she was already asking what she's going to have ready tonight because we had to do special requests, but that really means a lot. So
Just thinking ahead for the children as well. You know, and we said it, our cast members are parents as well, so they feel it too.
3-year-old's eating shrimp cocktail and the
Go for it!
I need cottage
lobster
cheese.
ravioli.
Right.
Well, I see the menu is not cheap either, so that's fantastic. You know,
It's very carefully studied. Of course,
Wow.
when we're dealing with over 1,000 children at any time, we look at nutrition very, very closely. We don't take away options, but we make sure that the healthy options are always available. Looking at calorie content, protein, carbs, and everything. So you have the balance whenever you want. If you feel like having a hot dog or hamburger, no one's going to stop you. But we're going to make sure we have the basics, and that's from adult to children. Really. Yeah. And then obviously the menu engineering, we do that corporately. We're very fortunate here, you know, every 3-4 days we can load up, so it's very easy for us. But when we travel the world, it takes a little bit more logistics to get that right. So if we're in Vancouver or Puerto Rico, but I must tell you, we've got it down to almost a science
very
right now.
organized.
Because we don't buy from just any vendor, obviously. You know, we buy from approved vendors through Disney. And so it takes a lot of calculation, lead times. When we go to Europe, you can imagine if we're in Copenhagen or if we're in Norway or if we, Barcelona, you've got to have a good lead time, make sure that you're well prepared in advance.
Do they speak English on all those cruises? Primarily?
Yes, primarily English, but we do have a good international complement,
Right,
and
but
then
I
we've got
meant-
cast crew members that are able to converse in those languages. Fortunate, I speak 4 or 5 languages, but I tell you, there are colleagues of mine that speak up to 9. So
Yeah, our servers.
Even our
speaks
staff
3 or 4
captain,
last night.
Is there a head chef on board?
there's an executive chef,
Okay.
absolutely, a well-seasoned executive chef, and he's got a huge portfolio, if you will, takes care of all the culinary experiences. Actually, I stand corrected. There are 2 executive chefs because there is an executive chef for Remy, Patrick, and then Edward is the executive chef for the other facilities.
Okay.
And then they have sous chefs under them, and Danish sous chef, chef de partie, and so. Good questions.
Any other questions?